And let's start recording, guys. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Moosey Gaming here, and today we have a very interesting video today, and that is we're gonna play around with the tier list. Here during the live stream, we're joined by the chat. So say hi to the chat. But today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do troop type guide. No, Rise of Kingdoms guide for commanders using the tier list. Now here's how it works. I'm gonna actually pull up troops, the basic commanders that you'll be using in KvK1, KvK2 as Season of Conquest in Rise of Kingdoms. And I'll give you like your march setup based on your budget level, based on your main troop type. So we'll start off with infantry mains. And then in KvK1, obviously infantry mains would start with a lot of commanders like I think this is more than enough for us to start off with, right? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with free to play. Well, a main troop. Main troop. Let's start off with infantry. Yeah, main troop infantry. Then I'm gonna basically do this free to play, low spender, mid spender, whale, kraken, rally, garrison. So basically, I'm gonna have up here what troops that we're actually doing. Let's just go ahead and just say infantry. And then I'm gonna give you a commander pairing that you should be using as a free-to-play player, low spender, mid spender, whales, kraken, into season of into KvK1, pre-KvK, KvK1, KvK2, season of Conquest. How about that, guy? All right, let's start with free to play. So if you're infantry and if you're in free KvK, I would say you gotta use Sun Tzu. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're free to play or not, actually. If you're infantry main, you gotta use Sun Tzu. If you're playing Rise of Kingdoms, you gotta use Sun Tzu, actually. So, yeah, free-to-play KvK1, I think the best march that you can possibly bring out on the field, though, is actually Sun Tzu and Ethelflaed. Does everyone agree with this? Right? If you're free-to-play and you're trying to run a march, single march in Rise of Kingdoms, I think Sun Tzu Ethelflaed might be the best play there. And, you know, some people might think, okay, Sun Tzu Ethelflaed is good, but Musa, it's actually really difficult for you to get enough Ethelflaed heads for you to have Ethelflaed leveled up. Well, guess what? Until you have enough heads of Ethelflaed, I think you should use Bjorn, what's Bjorn's last name? Sir Bjorn. What is your last name, sir? Bjorn Ironside? Ironside. Yeah, Bjorn Ironside. So I think this is probably the only way that you can run infantry as a free-to-play. Right? Have Sun Tzu, then use Bjorn as either primary for Sun Tzu or have Ethelflaed as a secondary to Sun Tzu is how I would run it. Now, if you're entering low spender zone though, I'll say you should run Sun Tzu YSG, right? If there's one commander that you can use as a low spender in Rising Kingdoms, I think that should be YSG. I didn't put it as free to play because if you're free to play, you're not gonna maybe be able to get YSG to even 5111, which is when YSG becomes really, really strong. But if you're a low spender, I think Sun Tzu YSG might be the best play here. What do you guys think? Does everyone agree? All right, let's go ahead and move on. And then if you're a mid spender, then it kind of opens up a few other options. I would say mid spenders when you can actually look into getting Charged Metal YSG. Let's actually swap those places because that should not be a legend. That should not be an expertise YSG that you're using as a low spender most likely. And as you're entering the mid spender zone, I think the best pairing that you can technically use in KvK1 or 2 is actually Charged Metal YSG. Now, I don't really recommend going into 2 marches as a mid spender in KvK1 or pre-KvK. But if you want to go into 2 marches, you can technically look into using Pierce with Sun Tzu as well. Let's get an expertise Sun Tzu actually. Yeah, Pierce and Sun Tzu. So I would say this is probably the right way to run this. That's where I'm actually personally trying to get at. Have Charged Metal YSG and then Pierce and Sun Tzu on my Project Vortex. So I think this is probably the 2 march setup that you can possibly have for the highest tier of mid spender that wants to run 2 marches on the field. Now, if you do enter the whale category for infantry, I would say this is when you can kind of look into other marches too. You can obviously run Charged Metal with YSG. Where's YSG at? Yeah, Charged Metal YSG. You can also look into Minamoto and Baibars. Or Double C, depending on what you want to actually run with those. You can also technically look into running 3 marches. But I don't recommend running Archer unless you have YSG to be able to be paired with Tutmo. So personally speaking, I think if you're running 3 marches in KvK1, I'll still say Pierce and Sun Tzu. Get expertise Sun Tzu though. Yeah, Pierce Sun Tzu is probably the right play here. We're just going to move those. Yeah, as an infantry main, I think these are the ones that you should be using. No, Carl, we ain't zeroing none. What's going on? Are you guys zeroing someone? Now, there is also a different variation of this where you can actually use Charged Metal and Pierce and then just use Sun Tzu ISG, which is also possible for infantry mains. This just does a lot of damage. So that's also something that you can look into as a whale as well. But if you want to just like focus on one equipment setup, which is what I would recommend, this is what I'll recommend for KvK1 for Whale. Now, if you're a Kraken, then story kind of changes a little bit. Where's Charge Mattel at? Let's get more Charge Mattel, Minamoto, YSG. Pierce, Ethelflood. Where's wait, do I not have, oh, there you go, 5 bars. So if you're a Kraken though, I would still say Forest Martel YSG is still the best. And then Pierce with Sun Tzu. Where's Sun Tzu at? I thought I just pulled Sun Tzu up. There you go. Yeah, Pierce, Sun Tzu. And then Minamoto Bybars. And you can then look into Tubo. And Kusanagi, I would say. I have prep season, oh my gosh. I hate prep season. Yeah. What's the best KvK2 lineup? I want to run 2 tab marches, 1 infantry. We'll get to that later. We're talking about infantry mains right now. I would say this is probably a good setup. With the option of you running Tutmos with Ethelflood. I think this is probably the best lineup. You know, again, with an option of Charge Mattel potentially being used with Pierce and then, you know, Sun Tzu with YSG. But I think Charge Mattel YSG, because a lot of people should be focusing on one setup, should be fine. Pierce, Sun Tzu should be fine for now, for KvK1, at the very least. Now, if you're rallying with KvK1 setup, I think it should still all be Charge Mattel YSG. In my opinion. Or should Pierce be placed somewhere there? What do you guys think? Should we put Pierce, Charge Mattel in either of those? Rally or Garrison? Maybe Rally might be Pierce, Charge Mattel. Charge Mattel, Pierce. For KvK1. What do you guys think? Best KvK2 March is Pierce DJ, in my opinion. I agree with you on that, sir. I agree with you on that. Alex CM still slash. Also Saladin YSG. Yeah. Those are really good. But I think best KvK2 March is probably Pierce CJ. Is there anything that you guys disagree with this by any chance? This is KvK1. Let me just go ahead and write on the screen. YSG might be a better rally unless you're rallying a city rally, right? If you're running city rally, I think Minamoto Met is really, really good. But if you're not running a city rally, because the damage factor of Met, if you guys look at it, where's Met at? Yeah, this only works if you're damaging city, right? Watchtower and city garrison. So if you go to expertise, yeah, 1350 is okay, but the extra damage that you deal with Met is only possible if you're attacking a city. I think for city rally though, Minamoto Met might be really, really good. So you're right on that. Okay. Everyone in alignment with our KvK1 infantry main. Charlie May City Keeper. Charlie May is not actually available for KvK1. You get it at the end of KvK1, so that's unfortunate. Not even unfortunate though. Yeah, Charlemagne does not have a place in Rising King, to be honest with you. It's just a trophy grandpa at the end of the day. All right, let's go ahead and move on to KvK2. And let's go ahead and reset everyone. Well, let's reset only the ones that we need to. Yeah. So free to play. As a free to play, KvK2. What should you run? I think it doesn't really change much as free to play player in KvK2, no? It's still Sun Tzu Ethelflaed with Bjorn as kind of like a substitute for Ethelflaed. No? Maybe we should start considering Charge Mentality Sun Tzu as free to play. I've never been free to play, guys. I've never been free to play, so you guys gotta tell me. Bro, Charlemagne is KvK2 meta? Really? Sun Tzu YSG maybe? Yeah, I mean, as you enter KvK2, maybe they'll be able to get like some YSG from gems, you know? Yeah, maybe Sun Tzu YSG with Ethelflaed as an option. I think this might be it. Although I don't want to use the expertise. YSG. It's not supposed to mean anything, but I just don't want to use it. So yeah, I think that might be good. Maybe swap the places between those two. Because even for free, yeah, even as you enter KvK2, it still might be tough for them to get enough YSG heads for them to use in KvK2. So that's what I would think. And for low spender, honestly, it does not change too much. You know, charge with Pal YSG, I think. Maybe from KvK2, maybe you can look into maybe getting Alex. So run Charge Martel YSG, or yeah, maybe this is the right play, right? Charge Martel Alex / YSG. Kusanagi-san is good? Really? Oh no. Do you think so? But I think low spender, this is pretty good, right? Charge Martel, Alex, the classic combo. You know what I mean? And then potentially with substitutability with YSG. DJ for low spender for KvK2. You think it's possible? Because I feel like CJ, you need Pierce, right? You need Pierce and CJ, right? But if KvK1, you're using Charge Martel YSG. But will people actually invest in Alex nowadays, though? Now I think about it. I feel like instead, they would actually get CJ. Oh, we need a lot of CJ. Now I just realized. We'll worry about that later. Wait, hold on. Where's CJ at even? Where's CJ? There you go. I think we need to add more CJ, guys. You can transfer CJ to KvK3 too, you think? Yo, Raven, how's it going, man? Low spender, I think you need to go CJ. I'll just add like this, right? So here's the thing with low spender. I feel like if you're a low spender, you would still be using Charge Martel YSG, right? if you're a low spender, I think you'll still use Charge Metal YSG. But if you're on the higher spender part of the lower spender, I don't know if that means anything. But if you're somewhere between low spender and mid spender, you can technically use CJ, work on him, and then potentially look to kind of, swap him for a different commander into Season of Conquest, right? In KvK2, you don't get Midas Governor event. You don't get Martel and MG anymore. Yeah, I understand that. I think people should do Siege March for KvK2. You know what? That's a great point. That's a great point. But I don't want to go over this Siege thing right now because yeah, I can't find. I don't want to find the blue purple Siege. Let's focus on the 3 main marches for now. So yeah, I think this is not a bad place. Like, I don't think you should be working on Pierce necessarily as a low spender. But if there's one other commander that you can work on outside of Charge Martel and YSG as a low spender, I think that's CJ. Yeah, and then you can swap 2 of those commanders as low spenders into Season of Conquest commanders, so you can utilize YSG as a pairing for Qin Shi Huang. CJ's like the YSG for Season 2, yeah. It used to be Alex, though. It used to be Alex. Alex used to be the YSG of Season 2. Now CJ might be it. So that's very interesting, you know what I mean? I think we might need more CJ, by the way. Yeah, let's add more CJ. Because I think we'll need him for Rally. We'll need him for Garrison. I don't know about Garrison, to be honest, but I think we'll definitely need him for Rally. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Misspender. Misspender is probably where you can start looking into Pierce with CJ, right? We can now start kind of investing into commanders that you didn't really use as much in KvK1. You might be using Pierce already as a Misspender in KvK1. But if you have to use one Marsh as a Misspender, I think Pierce CJ might be the one Marsh that you should be using in KvK2. Hey, John, how's it going? Johnny, how's it going? Saladin is not bad for KvK2. Yeah, I understand. This is Infantry main, though. Infantry main. So, yeah. We'll get to Saladin when we get to the cavalry command. And I think that's it. I don't wanna add a second Marsh to a mid-spender. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that should be fine. And as you enter Whale, though, I'll say this is when you start having, Charge Martel CJ. I know. Pierce CJ, Charge Martel YSG. I would say Wales would use Minamoto. Maybe. With Saladin, perhaps? Where's Saladin at? Where's our man Saladin at? Where is Saladin? I thought I added Saladin. Oh, let's just find Saladin here then. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Saladin. I think if you're a whale, I think you'll use those 3 marches in KvK2. Agree, Musa. Pierce CJ? Yeah. Who is CJ? CJ is Chuk Jin-kyung, who is the KvK2 commander. that was added to KvK2. This guy does AoE smite damage, 1500 damage. But he does have instant proc from his expertise, I think. No. Instant proc from one of his skill as instant proc. Doesn't he have an instant proc somewhere? Or was it just his skill? Oh, he does not have instant proc, but it was just, yeah, his active skill does smite damage, basically. You guys can see that I clearly did not use CJ, because he was not meta when I was quote-unquote growing up. You know what I mean? Expertise? Yeah. Probably not. So I think if you're a whale, you can use 3 marches. One of them cavalry. No. Minamoto. All whales will have Minamoto, so that's fine. If you have Saladin, I think you can use like 5-5-5-1 Saladin if you're a whale, potentially. Then run those. I think that will be fine. If you're a whale as an infantry main. You're learning a lot again. I don't know if this is really learning. But the meta has changed a lot. I don't know if I don't know how much of this is actually true. But I'm just simulating in my head in terms of how this might be kind of like working for KvK1 players, KvK2 players. With the commander swaps and, you know, CJ, Takeda, all those commanders in the game, I'm just simulating in my head, right? And then if you go into the Kraken mode, I'll say you gotta add, you know, obviously the pure CJ, right? If you're a pure CJ, I think this is probably number 1. Parchment Tell YSG is fine. I think Saladin needs to be here too. Yeah, Saladin, Minamoto. And then Tutmos, maybe you can still use it as a Kraken. Maybe Mehmet? Maybe Mehmet with Tutmos might be the best idea for KvK2 for infantry mains. Let's just go ahead and put Ethelfled just in case. Or, yeah, Ethelfled just in case. There you go. So you'll run 4 marches, up to 4 marches as a Kraken. You can run up to 5 marches, to be honest, but you know, I don't think it's really that important that you run 5 marches. Wait, actually, you're a Kraken. Actually, no. I'm almost 60 days old in the game. Definitely learning. Does pure CJ perform better than CMYSG as a rally? I heard that was the case. I heard that pure CJ does work better for a rally setup. So, yeah, that will be over here. Hold on. If you're a Kraken, you might be using Alex. Right? This complicates things. If you're using Alex, it complicates things. I mean, would you be running Charles Martel with Alex then? And then YSG will be pushed out to Saladin? Saladin Ethelfled? Saladin Ethelfled is actually really good. So maybe we can do that. Where would we put YSG though? You know what? You can technically do this if you're a Kraken. You know what I mean? You can actually run a 2+ YSG here. And then Mina Mehmet. This looks pretty good, no? Yeah, so if you're Kraken, you can use Pierce CJ, Pars Martel Alex, Saladin Ethelflip, Hoopmos YSG, and then Minamoto Mehmet. Yeah, your archers hit hard. Yeah, I think this might be it for KvK2 Infantry main. Alright, let's go ahead and change the rally though. Yeah, Pierce, CJ, I heard from the people who are in KvK2 right now. CJ and Pierce CJ in that order is it, apparently. Maybe Richard Jones to help a lot. I don't think Richard Jones can actually squeeze in anywhere here though. Can he? Where would you put Richard? Oh. I mean, you can technically put Richard with Alex. And then still maintain Charles Martel with YSG. But I think this is better. I like what I'm seeing here. Because like then you don't get to use Archer, right? I think this is fun. And then Rally, Pierce CJ, 100%. Charles Martel YSG. Technically, you can use Woozy Tian as a rally, a garrison, but you gotta play KvK2 again for you to do that. We're not gonna go into that too much. We'll just put Woozy Tian right there, just to kind of share that. Okay, well, Woozy Tian can be a garrison lead if you have her. If you're Imp main, you don't have 2 cap set. If you're a Kraken, you might be able to. If you're a Kraken, you might be able to. I'm not talking about Whale, I'm talking about Kraken. People like Raven Emperor here. Who wants to run 5 Marches. It's inefficient for them to run 3 Infantry March. Even in KvK2. So I think this is okay. I think this is okay. So Rally, we have Pierce, CJ, Garrison, Charles Martel, YSG. If you have Woozy Tian, you can mix it. But most likely, you're not going to have Woozy Tian unless you're playing KvK2 twice and you're a Whale. But then again, if you're a Whale, why are you going to play KvK2 twice? I don't know. But that's basically, or Kraken. Why would you play KvK2 twice? I don't know, but that is an option that you need to look at because Woozy Tian does outperform Charles Martel. Maybe I should get both CJ and Alex up after seeing this. No. Sir, you're an efficient Whale, sir. You're efficient Kraken. You need to save up your gold test so they can rally your garrison in season Conquest. We talked about this. Don't get lured into this. This is for people with infinite amount of money who doesn't really care about efficiencies at all. And, you know, they just want to perform really, really well in KvK2. So I think this is it. Let's go ahead and move on to Season of Conquest Infantry main. Wait, KvK3. Let's go to KvK3. KvK3 is going to be different from Season of Conquest. Yeah, there you go. Bertrand is good. Maybe for Cab in KvK2. Yeah, Bertrand can be. Honestly, I don't really recommend running Bertrand, to be honest with you. Like, it's so trash compared to CJ. But we can talk about it. I think I'll rather run Saladin. Even if you're a Kraken. But technically speaking, you can run a rally with Takeda. But yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to Cavalry. Alright. now we are entering Season of Conquest. As we enter KvK3, we get. Oh wait, hold on. My lettering is a little off. Let's just go ahead and move that a little bit left. There you go. If you're free to play in Rise of Kingdoms, you have to run 1 infantry march. What would that be? Should we just say 秦始皇 YSG? Should we just give the free-to-play infantry main 秦始皇 YSG? I mean, that is the answer. To be really, really honest with you, that is the answer. But we can't do that. We can't be too... Yeah, we can't do that. Go ahead and bring out our Baichu Luchas. Wait, do I not have Baichus and Luchas? Now I added too many Chinchuangs, I think. But it's okay. You never get enough Chinchuangs. There you go. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do Chinchuang YSG for free to play. Hold on. Yeah. And for low spenders, though, I'll say Baichu Lucha. And then maybe into Chinchuang and YSG. If you can swap him, that is. And keep YSG. Which is a very, very difficult thing to do for infantrymen. But I'll say Baichu Lucha, Chinchuang YSG is probably the best you can do with low spender, right? 2 marches, just finished. And in all honesty, even the misspender, as you enter KvK3, is the exactly same way, I think. Chinchuang YSG Baichu Lucha. Like, if you're a mid-spender, I think you will still have Baichu Lucha, Chinchuang YSG. I'm gonna move up a little more Baichi, so we don't really see that many. Yeah, even if you're a mid-spender, I'll say Baichu Lucha, Chinchuang YSG is still the right play here. Do you think that is smart to invest in Arthur? Right now? I think right now, yes. I think it's stupid to invest in Gangnam Chan over Arthur because Gangnam Chan is not AoE. I think if you're going for cavalry, you should still invest in Arthur over Gangnam Chan, is my opinion. I think this is it. Yeah, mid spender, no change. Low spender, mid spender, same thing. You either should work on those marches or you just don't have them, but you're still work in progress into KvK3. Right? And then for Whale, I think this is when you can kind of start adding a new commander pairing like Arthur. Where's Achilles at? Where's our man Achilles? Where's Achilles? Did I already move it? Oh, there you go. Get more Achilles, though. I do want, I do want more copies of Achilles. Yeah. Ooh. Yep. There you go. Yeah. Arthur Achilles is fine, and then by Chiluche. And then Shinshiwang YSG maybe? If you're a whale. Go ahead and move it from here. I think this is probably the right play for whales. Mid spender should have 3 marches in KvK3. I don't think so. Even if you're mid spender, I think you should have 2 marches. Because, like, for infantry, right? You need to work on 1 extra commander, right? Because you cannot swap YSG. I think for mid spender, you will still need to work on 2 command. And just like focus on actually expertising them, giving them legendary equipments and whatnot. It's my recommendation. I don't recommend mid spenders to go into 3 marches just because it's, I don't think that's really healthy for them. But yeah, if you're a whale, having 3 marches are good. Focusing on 1 march because whales might be able to rally your garrison. So focusing on 3 marches is fine. And the whole rallying garrison for Season of Conquest is actually, they need to be done all the way from scratch. Now, if you're a Kraken though, this is where it gets kind of weird. If you're a Kraken, obviously you need Bai Chuluche. But you need William Wallace as well. Where's William Wallace? I added some. Yo. So let's go ahead and move those guys up. Arthur, Achilles, Bai Chiluche. 我秦始皇 YSG. Arthur, Achilles. And then what do you add from here? William Wallace. So if you're a Kraken, I think Bai Chi William Wallace, Chichiwang YSG, Arthur Achilles, Luce. Do you want to put in CJ here? You do 5-5-5-1 by Chi. Yeah, I don't recommend that at all, personally. Do you put in CJ into the mix then? I don't think you should run 3 infantry marchers though. Even as a Kraken. In KvK3. Like Season of Conquest later down the road, maybe later he might change their mind. Then should we just do this then? Achilles GG. Okay. Arthur and Hector, or Arthur, Hector, and then Luce Philip. Is this the right play? 5 March. So Bai Chi William Wallace, Qin Shi Wang YSG, Achilles GG, Luce Philip, and Arthur Hector. This might be the right play. Or just put it like this and then put DJ at the end so that you can potentially swap in between Philip and CJ. What do you guys think? And the rally is very simple. You did Scipio Aemilianus and then William Wallace. Garrison is also very simple. Gorgo Toku. Or if you want to put Hector instead of Toku, that's also fine. But that, I would say, is potentially what you can do for KvK3. I don't think it is possible. Well, obviously it's possible, but I don't think it is really recommended that you go 7 marches into KvK3 even for Kraken, in my opinion. Seems right? Yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Chinshuang YSG, obviously, if you're free to play, build out 1 commander outside of YSG and then just get that mixed up with Chinshuang. This is just too much to miss out on. If you're low spender, I'll say buy Chiluche, Chinshuang YSG. Mid spender, I think it's the same thing. I think low spender would have basically what Latka said. Yeah, I think low spender will just have like lower skill level by Chiluche. And mid spender would have just expertise by Chiluche, YSG, Chinshuang YSG. I think that's basically what that is. Let's just go ahead and swap those guys so that looks a little better. If you're a whale though, can run 3 marches, 1 of each troop type, and then the whale person should be working on rally or garrison setup with his first set. So I don't think he should expand himself beyond 3 marches in KvK3 because you're still working on your main rally or garrison setup, right? In such case, we can use rally as Scipio Aemilianus and Gorgo Toku or Hector. And then if you're a Kraken, you can technically look into Baichi, William Wallace, Chinshuang YSG, Arthur, GG. No. Achilles GG, Arthur Hector, and then Luce plus Alpha, right? Whether that is Philip that you want to use, or if you don't have Philip, you ran out of gold heads after investing in rally or garrison commander, you can technically run on CJ with Luce, which I think CJ will be the primary in that. Okay. I think that was pretty good. Like, I could be wrong here and there, but I think generally we have a pretty good idea of what infantry main should be running in KvK1, KvK2, and KvK3. Now, I'm out of breath, and my neck hurts like crazy, so I'm gonna actually stop this here today. And we're gonna continue this on tomorrow with cavalry and archers. And I do apologize for not preparing this in advance too much. So tomorrow I'll have all of the commanders kind of uploaded on time. Yeah, if someone has saved CJ after KvK2, why not use him? Yeah, exactly. If you have CJ worked on in KvK2, and you did not use him as part of your 2 commander swap commanders, such as Charles Mantel and Pierce, I would say are the 2 best options for infantry mates. I would say, yeah, why not use CJ, right? Use CJ with William Wallace. Bai Chi is a classic. Use him with Liu Che so that you can actually have 2 Smite commanders. And then you can have 2 combo commanders with Achilles, GG, and then, you know, Arthur, Hector. But one thing to just keep in mind is that this could all change for KvK3 if and once we find out more information about the new infantry commanders that are coming. So for those of you who are watching this and like, oh yeah, like 3 months later, you're like, oh yeah, this is all wrong. Yeah, this might be because this was made before we found out about the new releases of infantry commanders in January. And maybe we'll do an update on that afterwards. But so far, I think this is pretty much accurate, or as accurate as I can get it from my end. But again, I am having a little bit of a sore throat, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out the stream and recording for this. Hope you guys enjoyed this tier list though. This was really enjoyable to make. I didn't know it was gonna take an hour for me to actually make it, so I do apologize for the unprepared commander sculptures and all that stuff. Tomorrow, when I do come back for cavalry or archers, I'll go ahead and get more prepared on those. If you guys did enjoy today's stream, please go ahead and drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm gonna close out the recording, but I'm gonna send you guys all to someone else. And for those of you who are watching it on YouTube, I'll see you all in the next video, guys. And peace.